Hello, everyone. So today I just want to look at our first week for the course. I know some of this may look different. I'm still adjusting some things leading into the semester, but the two assignments we're going to focus on today, that'll look the same. So don't worry if some of this first week module looks a little different. There's reasons for that I can explain later. Um, so first, your first homework assignment will be an idea for preliminary research, and your second will be on actually doing some preliminary research using Wikipedia. We'll talk about that in a moment. This first one, an idea for preliminary research, is due Thursday, and the second one, actual preliminary research, is due Sunday night at 11:59. Okay. Now, anytime you're doing any assignment in our course, PDF version. For the assignments we're going to work on today, I also recommend having this one, the keywords chart. We'll go over that in a minute as well. Okay, so first, your handout packet. This is your textbook for the course, and I recommend printing it out and having it available instead of having to buy $100 textbook. Spend a couple of dollars printing this out so that you always have it available. Okay. Now, we're not going to look at the paper idea at first because I want you to just focus on an idea for your paper. But for those that really like knowing what's going on, you could go ahead and read through the paper instructions. But we'll go over that in the coming weeks as it becomes more needed. Okay. Now, the basic idea of paper one is that you're choosing a subject you're interested in. It could be a hobby, could be related to your major, could just be something you're interested in. And then studying it in a non-Western culture. So things like graffiti in Egypt, or hip hop in Japan, or medicine in South Africa. It could be any subject of interest and any non-Western country. Now, the list of possible countries is both on your assignment that we're going to look at, but also on page 4 of your handout packet. So you have the list of countries here. Now notice I don't list every single country in these regions. So you might want to pull up a world map, just Google world map, and then look at the countries in those regions, right? So I list 5 or 6 each time, but then I put etc. So you could always look and try to find out what those other countries are from a map, okay? So what we're doing these first 2 weeks is preliminary research. It's before you get to formal research, before you get to a library or databases or any of that, you need to get your feet wet. You need to understand a little bit about the background of your subject, right? So say you choose graffiti in Egypt. I'm guessing you know very little about it, right? If you choose the environment in Malaysia, you probably know very little about it. And so it would be very hard to do an effective library search that would work well without doing preliminary research to understand the basic ideas about it, the basic terms involved in that subject, and just to really begin to start understanding it so that when you get to library research in 2 weeks, you'll have a background in the subject and know some of the key terms that you can begin searching right away, right? So key terms, so for preliminary research, you could use things like textbooks, dictionaries, encyclopedias, Wikipedia. We're going to talk about that in a moment. News articles, databases. As you do preliminary research, as you do the first 3 assignments especially, you want to be looking for key words, okay? They're the most important nouns when you're researching a subject. So the most important person, places, or things, right? And so when you're reading, your radar should be going off every time you hit a noun that seems important. Write that down. So I give you, as I said, here I give you a keyword chart, and that's over here. And you will not need to turn this in. However, students that fill this out as they're doing the first couple of assignments have much, much better success in the library research. So please fill this out as you do the first couple assignments. So what keywords are is those main nouns, right? So somebody could be studying head coverings in the Middle East, particularly in Turkey. Well, it would help if you just go to the library research and just put in head covering Turkey. That might be too general, right? And so when you do some preliminary research, you may understand that some places it's called the hijab, some places the niqab, and the burqa, abaya, chador, veil, etc. Right? So instead of just going to the library research and having this, and then when it's not giving you good results, be stuck, if you did your preliminary research well, you'll have all of these you can search, and you'll have much, much better luck with your research. You can also do broader terms. You could do narrower terms, very specific, or you could do terms that are related to the idea, right? So here's the same thing with Japanese hip hop. You may get results with Japanese hip hop, but I bet you'll get slightly different results if you know that J hip hop is the more common term, or J rap, or J pop. That will improve your results later on, right? The broader terms might help you. The narrower terms, like the founder of Japanese hip hop, might help you, or something about a scandal in Japanese hip hop with blackface, or related terms. So fill this out as you're doing the first couple assignments. You will be happy you did that later on. Okay, so let's look at your first couple of assignments here. So what we're going to do is be looking at Wikipedia, which I'm sure at some point you've had an English professor or other professor or teacher say, never use Wikipedia, right? And they're partially correct. You should not use Wikipedia in your final paper. Wikipedia has become extremely trustworthy with editors and constant updates, but it's still not quite there. It's still 99% trustworthy. And because it's iffy, you can't use it in your final paper. So you say, well, why would you use it? Well, I think if you're not using it, you're missing out on a tremendous tool for preliminary research. Anytime I want to know something, I start at either Google or Wikipedia, right? I understand a little bit about it, and then I can go find out more, right? So I have you use Wikipedia, and I trust, and I remind you, it cannot be used in your final paper. But whatever your topic is, most likely Wikipedia is going to help you understand about it, understand what the key words are for it, and just get a better understanding of the topic that's going to improve your library research later on. Okay, so I have some hints here, advice on searching Wikipedia. We're going to look through those in a few moments. First though, your first assignment that's due Thursday, okay, it's an idea for preliminary research. So this one's really easy. You choose your subject that you'd like to study. You choose a second subject as a backup, just in case you're in the research process and you're like, this isn't working out so well. Well, then you have something to turn to, okay? Choose a non-Western country that you'd like to study. Again, I have some of the countries listed here. And then choose a second country as a backup, okay? So same there. Say you're studying graffiti in Egypt and you're not getting anything. Well, you could try graffiti in Turkey instead, right? Or you could say, well, I like graffiti a lot, but I'm also interested in women's rights, so I could do that instead, right? So All you need to do for this first assignment are choose your subject, a backup, choose your country, and a backup. Okay? And here's some ideas again that previous students have done. From internet addiction in South Korea, to education in all different countries, women's rights, different religions in different places, LGBTQ rights in different places, etc. Okay, so that's all let's do for Thursday. For Sunday, it's a little bit more. Okay, so first, again, I have the keyword chart here that you could you fill out as you do this. And I also have an example of a student who, a student sample who did this assignment and got full credit for it, so that you know what a full credit assignment looks like. We'll look at that, but we'll look at that last. Okay. So first, choose your country from your first assignment and the subject, right? Then you go to Wikipedia. Okay. Now, if you're lucky, you put in your country and your subject, and you search. And if you're lucky, the subject comes right up, right? Now, don't, just before you click on the first subject there, take a quick glance down, because you may say, oh, this might be helpful later on, having a list of musicians, and there may be other things helpful lower. So don't just click on the first thing and not look anywhere else. But in this case, we're lucky. Japanese hip hop pops up right away. Okay, so we click on Japanese hip hop. First thing I want you to notice is Wikipedia has this contents, table of contents. So use this as you research. Okay, so do you want to know about the history of it? Do you want to know more current? Do you want to know political aspects, influences, etc., etc.? You could click right down to those sections. Okay, but let's say we just start reading here. First, you should be looking for keywords. So we have Japanese hip hop, also known as. Boy, anytime there's also known as, that should go right in your keyword chart. Okay. Then we have the founder here, again, right in your keyword chart. And so on. Just read through, look for those most important nouns, put them in your chart. Okay, but for this assignment, what you need to do is start searching for 10 facts on your subject. Okay, and importantly, put them in your own words. Don't just copy and paste them. They need to be in your own words. So read, write down keywords, list 10 facts about your subject. Okay, so you're reading through and you're like, okay, I got who founded it. I got something about the history here. And some of these you might want to click through and go find out, you know, about this person or this orchestra and its role in hip hop. As you're looking, also be on the lookout for both things you can click through and also ideas, possible paper ideas. So if I'm looking through this, I'm thinking, oh my, there's some racial controversies in Japanese hip hop. That'd be a pretty interesting paper to focus in on that, right? So look for possible ideas for, you know, what direction your paper could go in as you're looking through these. Okay, so use your table of contents, look for those keywords, list your facts, okay, and also if you find a fact that's really interesting, you can click on the citation and see, it'll bring you down to the bottom and see if that citation is interesting. So say you're like, man, that fact was really good. It's right here. Oh, it's an article from The Guardian. I might want to save this to use later. Okay, so use their references. Let's look at another one. Let's go Japan and robots. Okay, once again, we're lucky and it comes up right away. Japanese robotics, but you might want to look, oh, this might be something to look at later, right? And go down and look at the, when it says main article or see also. Because, oh, if you look at this and you're like, I want to read about nuclear power, but that's so small. Well, here's the main article. You can click right through and get a ton more, right? Actually, let me stop that. And in this case, my computer's being really slow right? Okay, so now let's go to China and the environment, another possible. Okay, last example that's easy. You look for your keywords, you look for your 10 facts, and while that's thinking, there we go, environment in China, and if I just look at the first one and click through it, I might miss environmental issues in China, and that might be a better one. So we click down there, and as I'm waiting for it, now number 3 on this, so keep in mind you'll have to do that. Then you'll have to write 2 paragraphs total on why you chose your country and subjects and what you find interesting or what you would like to know in your research. Now, say you say, I don't know, I just randomly chose something. Well, indicate that for A, but then you need to expand more on B. So even if you don't have a lot for A, you still have to write 2 total paragraphs. Okay. Okay, so back to environmental issues in China. So you can see tons of stuff in the table of contents. We have the main article that you could click through on policy on water resources. So always click through those. Okay. Now let's say you're looking for something and there isn't an entry on it. Say China and the environment. You couldn't find an entry on it. What you want to do then is go to the country itself and look through its table of contents and try to find something close to what you're looking for, right? So if it's robotics, try to find technology. If it's environmental issues, you could find pollution or something like that. There's a student sample there, facts, okay, and it's in their own words. Yes, you know, some of the specific things come straight, but they read through it, put in their own words. 10 facts, 5 facts on a backup idea, and then 2 paragraphs, right? So she talks about, she thought the environment in China was beautiful, she liked their culture, she had friends who went there, and then she'd like to know more about pollution and endangered species and challenges there, and then she wrote about why she chose her second topic as well. So this received full credit for the assignment, okay? So that's what a full credit version of this assignment looks like. Okay, so now we're going to China, and say you don't know what you want to write about, but you like China a lot, right? Well, now you can just go to China and look through their table of contents and see if something really triggers you. So for instance, here we have the environmental issues, right? Or you could say, I'm really into science and technology, and go there, modern era, or their culture, and just start clicking through the table of contents till you get what you want, or if or something that would interest you. Okay. Now, if you absolutely are not getting anything for this assignment, you're trying and trying, contact me. You could either see me at my Zoom hours, you could email me and say, hey, I was looking for this and I can't find anything, right? And that's why you shouldn't wait to do this till Sunday night. If you email me at 9 p.m. on Sunday night, I probably am not going to be able to answer it before it's due. But if you start this Friday or Saturday, and you send me an email, I can say, oh, okay, well, you should look here, search for this instead. Or I can say, oh, that's a great idea. Wikipedia is not going to work for it. Here's what you do instead. Okay? So make sure you start your assignments early. Okay. So I think that's all I wanted to discuss here. How to use Wikipedia. Your preliminary research Wikipedia, that's due Sunday night at 11:59. Your idea, that's due Thursday. Okay. Use your keyword chart and always have your handout packet available. That's all for now. Thanks, and let me know if you have any questions.